Welcome to FunNGun. Pretty excited to finally have my Watchtower Demolitia back here on the table after having to send it back to Watchtower to have it retuned. If you haven't watched my original video to see why it went back to Watchtower, I recommend checking that video out as well. I'll go ahead and link it at the end of this video. But in this particular video, we're going to go ahead and go over what Watchtower did to this gun to fix it, a few issues I've had since getting the gun back, a few things I've changed on the gun, and I'll also go ahead and throw the footage of me going over all the cool stuff that the Demolitia itself comes with, and this gun being the Elite package. I'll go ahead and go over all the stuff you get with the Elite package at the end of this video. I'll go ahead and reinsert that footage from the previous video if you haven't watched that one yet, and it does come with all kinds of cool stuff. So first off, we're going to go ahead and show you that this gun is unloaded. Go ahead and drop the magazine out, and this is one thing I figured I'd mention here is this is a Checkmate magazine that came with my PewView edition that I've put a aluminum base plate on from a company called Boss Company. And this gun actually comes with two 17 and two 20 round blued magazines that are branded Watchtower. And these are the exact same magazines, other than the fact these are blued and it doesn't have the aluminum base plates on there. So haven't actually started using these magazines because I have quite a few of these kicking around from my PewView edition. So I figured I'd hang on to these till I needed them. So that is why the magazine is silver in this particular gun instead of the blued, because that is the magazines I've been using in it. So let's go ahead and get into the stuff that Watchtower actually did to this gun at the factory to fix it. So let me grab the paper here that sent back with the gun, or they sent back with the gun. And as you can see there, they trimmed the barrel feet, and the feed ramps. They tightened and tuned the extractor, test fired and function tested the gun. And I'll say a big thanks to the gunsmith Isaac for getting this gun back up and running for me. So that is the stuff they did to this gun at the factory, and I have to say that it is definitely significantly smoother, and there is no catch in the front part of the, the action right there like there was when I sent it in. So definitely whatever they done right here around the linkage, it is still nice and tight, but it is loose enough for the gun to function properly now. Well, in most cases, I did say that I had some issues with this coming back from Watchtower, and that has been with this 115 grain, 1200 feet per second Fiocchi training dynamic ammo. And this was the ammo that I did shoot in it mostly when I first got it. And I do contribute some of the issues to this ammo, but the gun was definitely not tuned right, as you can see there by the paperwork. But I'll go ahead and insert some footage of me trying to run this ammo in the gun since I got it back right here. Okay, as you can see, this ammo just does not feed in this gun at all, hardly, and that was using the factory recoil spring, which we'll get into that more in a second as well. But this ammo does not feed properly. You get all kinds of different issues with this ammo, and all of the clips or shots of me shooting this gun that have showed the gun functioning has been with this New Republic 115 grain ammo. Not 100% sure what the feet per second on this ammo is. Hadn't looked it up in a while. I do know it is definitely under the 1200 feet per second because this Fiocchi ammo is one of the hotter factory loaded 115 grain ammos. But essentially I just figured I'd mention that because if you're going to pick one of these guns up, you already have one of them, just steer clear of the Fiocchi training dynamics because it does not seem to run well in these gun, or this gun at least. So that's the only issue I've had with this gun since getting it back. I have put about 150 or so rounds of this in it, or through it since getting it back, and it ran 100%, and that's where all the footage of me shooting this gun, like I said, come from. So let's go ahead and get into the few things on the gun that I actually did change. And the number one being, I did go ahead and take the factory 12 pound spring out of this gun. It definitely just felt like it was oversprung to me still from the factory. And it currently has the 9-pound spring installed in it that was factory with my PewView here. So that is the spring that's in the gun now. And since I lightened the spring weight, I went ahead and installed a Wilson Combat shock buffer. This is not really necessary. I just prefer the way that the recoil impulse feels on the gun when it has one of these installed, because it kind of deadens the blow of the action or the slide going to the rear position and coming back. So I like to put these in there as cheap modification, and it makes me feel a little bit better about having a light spring in the particular gun as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert some footage, and it kind of shows a side-by-side comparison of this spring and the 9-pound spring with the buffer installed. And it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of why I went ahead and did that. Okay, if you pay close attention to the tip of the barrel on both sides there, you will see with the factory 12-pound spring installed that the gun jars quite a bit more when the slide closes versus with the 9-pound spring in the buffer. So that is why I chose to go ahead and leave the 9-pound in the buffer installed. Okay, as you can see there in the slow-mo of me shooting this particular gun with this 12-pound spring in it, like I mentioned a little bit there in the voiceover, with this spring installed in the gun, I kind of feel like you get quite a bit of muzzle whip, and that is the tip of the gun moving up and down. And what gives me that idea is also when you're shooting the gun, you can see that in the red dot, the dot moving up and down in the window. So that is why I chose to try the 9-pound spring with the buffer, and that seems to be working quite a bit better for me at the current time. May try a few different spring weights later on, but for now, I'm gonna leave that alone because the gun has been 100% reliable the way it's set up with that 9-pound spring in the buffer. And it also was 100% reliable with this 12-pound spring minus the Fiocchi ammo here, as you've seen there in the previous clip of me shooting this with that Fiocchi ammo. So the gun runs fine with that, and it seems to be a better setup for the way I want the gun to react. The only other thing I've done here is I went ahead and installed a larger magazine release button because the magazine release is drilled tab to do so. That's like a $20 part on eBay. I have that on my PewView edition as well, and also my Bull Armory, and probably any other 2011 I ever pick up in the future, I'll have that button on it as well because it's cheap and it works well. So that is the only stuff I've changed on the gun. So let's go ahead and get into the fit of this gun. We'll start off here with the grip safety, and I would have rather have seen a pinned grip safety, a non-functional grip safety that is, but the fact that this one is tuned as nice as it is okay. I guess that it's functional. Excuse me. As you can see here, you have just a little bit of travel there, and it is disengaged. So it's almost like not having a grip safety at all with the little bit of travel it takes to disengage. I believe that is a Dawson Precision part. It is not the same grip safety that is in my PewView. The PewView has a lot more travel, although it is tuned properly and works just fine. Just something I figured I would note, that it is a completely different grip safety versus that gun. So let's go ahead and get into the safeties on this gun. It is ambidextrous, and they are the large safeties. They're the exact same safeties that come on my PewView, and I think most of the PewViews and all of the new Apache guns come with this safety on it. But my original video, if you've watched it on the PewView, I go over the fact that you can just essentially do that right there, and that safety on that gun would just flip on. And I've seen other people complaining about that on the forums about these guns, that you could just basically just touch the safety and it would go on. And everybody's like, yeah, you just need to ride the grips or your thumb on top of the safety. Well, not everybody's got large enough hands to do that. So the fact that the grip safety could just be tapped and it would turn on is a problem. So on that particular gun, I ended up having to notch the divot in the front of the safety so the D10 could click into it, and that one works just fine. But I will say from the factory, as you can see there, I can rest that the gun weight on my thumb and my trigger finger there, and the safety does not turn on without me jolting it. So the safety there has a positive up and down position there. It is, as you can hear there, clicks up and down perfectly fine. So that is nice. This gun also has the same exact slide stop thumb release, whatever you want to call it here, as the PewView, and it's more of a shelf than a ramp. And I will say, kind of had to adjust my grip angle a little bit to kind of move my thumb out of the way of that, because I have done it with this gun once, and a few times with my PewView is accidentally got my thumb in the wrong spot and caused it not to lock open. Not a big deal, you just got to be mindful of that. Definitely a nice thumb release though. So that is those parts. So let's go ahead and talk about the magazine release. I talked about the button on it. I will say it has a nice smooth and positive magazine release button, nothing wrong there. So let's go ahead and talk about the trigger on this particular gun. Like I said, gun is unloaded. Got just a little bit of take up right there. Nice crisp break. Reasonably positive reset there, and it's ready to go again. And when I say reasonably positive, it does have a little bit of sponginess to it, and that is because of how tight this particular trigger is fit to the frame, and I do feel like that'll break in over time. I've just been keeping a little oil on the top and bottom of it, but it does kind of have it's a little bit sluggish popping back out. Not a big deal though. It's not something you really notice when you're shooting it. This also has a red dirt trigger shoe in it. That is the curved version, as you can obviously see there, but not exactly sure what size that is, but it does fit my finger nicely, and I get a nice 90-degree break on that particular trigger, and my finger starts in almost a 90-degree position to start with. So nice trigger shoe. I have considered the idea of putting a flat trigger shoe in this gun, also a red dirt gold trigger shoe, but for now, probably leave the curved one in there. It's not too big of a deal. I am more of a fan of a flat face trigger, but this being a straight pull trigger where there's no pivot to it, it's not really that big of a deal to me. So that is the trigger. Definitely has a nice trigger. I will say, trigger was a little bit heavier than that from the factory. It's breaking closer to around 2 or so pounds. I'll try to get a trigger gauge on it when I make the 1,000 round update of this gun later on, so we can kind of get a little bit more of an idea of what it actually is now. But I will say that it was a little heavier than that, and we have now tuned it a little bit, so got a little bit lighter. Not too bad of a trigger. So let's talk about how smooth the gun is. If you watched my original video, and that is one of the reasons this gun got sent back, is because it had a really bad catch in the slide right there, and it was really hard to pull back. I will say this is way smoother than it was before, especially when I put this lighter spring and buffer in there. Just went ahead and smoothed that on out. Is it quite as smooth as the Pew View yet? I don't know, because I've shot the Pew View quite a bit more. So it is smooth though. I will say that it's definitely one of the smoother guns you're ever going to pick up. So that really is the gun so far. I really like the gun, and I can't wait to get more rounds on it. I'm going to shoot it in quite a few competitions, and like I said, there will be a 1,000 round update on this gun. So I'm going to go ahead and head over to the portion of this video. I'm going to go ahead and like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to insert the part of me going over all the cool stuff this gun comes with, and then we'll come back and we will outro this video. This is the stuff that this gun comes with normally without it being the Elite package, because this version I have here is the Elite. So this is the hard case you get. Has the Watchtower logo, the Demolition Ranch logo, and Demolition on there. That's printed on like a hard patch stuck to the case here. It's a really nice case. I'm not 100% sure why you need the case. I guess if you want to fly with this, it does have the locks on it. And why I say I'm not 100% sure why you need the case, because inside of the case, you do have the Watchtower logo lasered into the foam there, which is cool. But inside of your case here is, you guessed it, your second case. And this is a soft case. And well, it's kind of a soft, rigid case. It's got a kind of some kind of something in there that makes it a little bit stiffer. So this is actually probably one of the nicest soft cases I've ever actually got with a gun, or just ever messed with in general. Got enough foam or stuff here where you could add patches to it. This is actually embroidered into the bag. It's not a patch, so that's pretty cool. Nothing on the back side. Let's go ahead and show you the inside of it. It's, like I said, it's a really nice bag. We'll get into that in a second. Now, I will say the only thing I kind of find odd about this is you're supposed to Velcro the gun right here, and it's going to be up against all your magazines, which I guess they're kind of padded. But I'd almost rather put the gun down in one of these little pockets so it's not going to be up against anything. But you got a place for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 magazines. You got 2 pockets on each side. So extremely nice, semi-rigid soft case there. That's the stuff that comes with the regular version. Get a patch, you get the lock, get your paperwork here. And the thing that I complained about on the Pew View here is the same on this one. And if you're watching this Watchtower, go ahead and do me a favor. And I know you're getting these plates from Atlas, and it does include the screws right here, but these screws only work with an RMR. And if you're planning on putting a Hollison on this, you're going to have to go over to Atlas and pick up these screws right here. And No, this screw pack's not expensive. It's like $2, but the fact that the shipping on it's like another $11 or $12, I went ahead and picked up 2 packs, one for the PuView that I never had the screws for because it didn't come with them, and also for the Demolitia here. And to make the shipping worth it, I went ahead and picked up the Atlas Gunworks magazine cleaning kit. And I'm not gonna lie, if you do go ahead and order these screws and you wanna do the same thing I did, this kit, if you don't have one, is definitely worth it. Pretty awesome. Got a brush here, got the little pin on the bottom of it, take the magazines apart, got the little mop here, little brush the dust out your mag bases. Definitely a nice kit for about 20 bucks, I believe is what I paid for that. So really made the shipping worth it to get these screws. Okay, so let's get into the cool stuff you get by buying the Elite package here. And first thing gonna be your certificate of authenticity here, and it is signed by Matt. It's got the serial number on it. It's got when the gun was either made or when this certificate was signed won. As you can see there, this certificate's only 6 days old, so that's pretty cool, at least at the time of making this video. It's a nice hard piece of paper here, or kind of a more rigid piece of paper. Got that gold inlay on it. Looks pretty good there. If you want to pause it and read it, you can, but you get your authenticity card. Let's get into some of the cooler stuff here. You get you a Demolitia hat, which is a pretty nice hat. It's a button back hat, like a trucker style hat with the vents in it. Nice hat. You're gonna get yourself a Demolitia patch, which is really cool. And I guess if you think about it, this is a $4,800 patch because that's the only way you can get this patch, this hat, and everything I'm about to show you here. And this is the real reason I wanted the Elite package, being the ammo can is similar to the one that come with the PuView here. Figured it'd be really cool to have both. Top side of it, you got bullet hole looking to it. You got the same bullet rim right here that you get on the PuView case. And you got the Demolition Ranch logo right here. Kind of a nuclear bomb going off with stars and stuff. And you got your nice gold Demolition logo here. And I will say, only thing is a little bit is these are stickers over the can. So I have noticed a few of the edges popping up. Not a big deal, still looks really cool. Back side of it's got your bullet holes on it. Got some more of the bullets running around the rim there. Flip it over here, got your Watchtower logo, an ammo can. Lasered onto your ammo can, kind of ironic, I guess you think about it. Not 100% sure what the date there is. It's 5/9/87. If you know what that is, drop it in the comments. That's pretty interesting that they, something on here, I guess, that they labeled here, and you got some 5.56, I guess, some 9mm. Okay, let's go ahead and show what's in the case. This is some few more cool things you get here. On the inside, you got Matt's logo laser there, a few more bullet holes. You got some Watchtower branded magazines, which these are still the same Checkmate magazines you get with the other that I got with my Watchtower PuView there. These are branded with Checkmate. I mean, with not Checkmate, they're branded Watchtower, and they are blued instead of the shiny look. You get 2 17s, and you also get 2 20s. These magazines do come with a gun regardless of which package you get. Underneath there, you have the Watchtower logo, and on this side of the coin, you have the the Demolition Ranch logo. And on the other side, you have the Watchtower, so that is your challenge coin. And obviously, you have the cutout for your gun there. And it does say danger, and it's got a bomb right here on the handle. Not quite as creative as the one with the Watchtower, with the PuView. It has something about an ejection seat pull handle, so a little bit funnier on that one. Still kind of cool though, the danger bomb. Okay, as you can see there, it doesn't matter if you get the regular version of this gun, you're going to get quite a bit of stuff. And if you get the Elite version, you're definitely going to get a lot of cool stuff with it. And I will say, if you're looking to pick one of these guns up and you haven't got one ordered yet, I do recommend going ahead and getting the Elite package just because of the fact that it is obviously more limited. And the fact that you get the ammo can just makes it worth it, in my opinion. And all the other little things that this particular package comes with is also pretty cool as well. So that's the reason I decided to get the Elite package. And like I said, if you haven't picked one of these up, that's the one I would recommend getting. So I figured we'd go ahead and talk about Watchtower a little bit, how they are to deal with and getting your gun fixed and just anything in general. I will say that anytime I've ever called Watchtower up and had any questions, even before I had any of their guns, they were extremely friendly to deal with. They were really easy to deal with sending this gun back. Called them up, told them the issues I was having. They sent me a form, I filled it out, and had a shipping label the next day, and the gun was back to them pretty quickly. And I will say it did take a little bit longer to get the gun back than they had originally said, but not too bad. And they said that the reason that it took a little bit longer to work on this gun, it would have been back a lot quicker if it wasn't for the fact that at the time of me filming this video, they currently have quite a few of the original PewView guns coming back in to get the original grip swapped out. The better carbon fiber, nylon, whatever grip here installed on them. So that is one of the reasons it took a little bit longer. So no real big deal there, but I will say that I would have much rather not had to send this gun back at all. And if I had any gripe at all, I would say that I wish they spent a little bit more time on their quality control, because this gun in particular, you could have picked up and just pulled the slide back on and easily could tell that there was definitely something wrong with it because of how hard it was to originally get this gun to unlock. So that is something that I still kind of to this day blows my mind that it ever made it bad or past quality control. But I understand everything's man-made. It does function now. But Lord, speaking of quality control, is I also had a few issues, like I mentioned, with the safety on my PewView on this particular gun here that somehow made it past quality control. So, like I said, if I had one gripe, I would say spend a little bit more time on quality control. These guns are awfully expensive to be coming out with little nitpicky issues with them, but the fact that they did take care of it in a reasonable amount of time is pretty cool. I will say I was kind of curious to see if they would send anything back with the gun, like some stickers, a patch, extra magazine, anything to kind of try to help make up for the fact that I had to send it back right off the bat, because I have sent back other guns in the past, much cheaper guns, and have received stuff as kind of a compensation for having to send them back. And I will say they didn't send anything back with the gun other than the letter saying what was wrong with the gun, which there again, like I said, it's not a big deal. I was just curious to see if they would. But I guess let's go ahead and get into what else I have planned for this particular gun on the channel here. Number one, you're going to see me shoot this gun in IDPA competitions quite a bit on this channel. You're going to see a 1,000-round update on this particular gun at some point. And the one I'm pretty excited about here is going to be the video of me comparing the Demolitia to my PewView here, and kind of more or less seeing if the ports work better than the comp, and something that general nature. I'm going to try to put a graph in behind them and shoot them on slow motion to see which one rises more, which one dips more, and all that. Going to be a fun video, and I'm looking forward to making that one. It's going to be a little while out because I'm getting ready to go to CanCon at this point. So hopefully to get to that video when I get back from that in a few weeks. But yeah, that's really all I had for today. I'm definitely excited to have the Demolitia back and to get to play with it more, and that's all I had for today. Okay, if you made it this far, I just want to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're looking for more Fun&Gun right now, you can click one of the 2 recommended videos there. If you're looking for more Fun&Gun later, you can go ahead and click that there subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. And if you're finding me from Facebook, go ahead and click that open app button at the top to make all that a lot easier, and I'll see you next time.